Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a camera review of the Redmi Note 10T 5G. So this is the first 5G device from Redmi series in India, and this device comes with a Dimensity 700 chip, and this also comes with a triple camera setup. And let's see how this camera performs in this price segment. This is price starting around 13,999. This is quite similar to the Poco M3 Pro launched recently. Now the camera setup is also quite similar. Now let's have a look at the hardware offered. This has a 48 megapixel primary sensor. It's an f1.79 aperture. Now we don't know the sensor details because it's sourced from multiple vendors, so we don't have a clarity on which sensor is used here. Now it also has a 2 megapixel macro sensor and 2 megapixel depth sensor. Now on the front panel you get an 8 megapixel selfie camera, which is f2.0 aperture. So that's the camera hardware of the Redmi Note 10T 5G. So let's see how this performs in this price segment. So before getting into the detailed camera review, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. Now let's have a look at the camera samples. First up, let's have a look at the daylight shots. Let's first have a look at the daylight shots. The 48 megapixel camera does a decent job in bringing good details. The daylight captures have come quite well with decent colors and sharpness levels too. The dynamic range is also quite good, but not perfect, as some of the highlights are missed in the shadows. But at this price segment, I would say decent performance. Once again, the sharpness levels are quite acceptable, although they are not the best, but this is evident when you pixel peep. But Redmi has done a quite good job in keeping the noise away in daylight shots. So overall, we feel that the 48 megapixel camera does a decent job in terms of daylight conditions. But one thing which is missing on this device is the ultra wide angle camera, which is kind of a norm at this price segment. Moving on, the phone can also do some good looking close-up shots, and here the color reproduction also seems more or less accurate and does not oversaturate. The sharpness levels are also quite good. The phone comes with a 2 megapixel macro sensor, and it produces decent looking macros, but colors are not really accurate. The sharpness levels are decent, although some shots do tend to be over sharpened. But yes, there is a bit of noise in macros, which is evident. Now moving on to the portraits. The portraits have come quite okay, and there is decent edge detection, although there are few misses too. The skin tones are quite good, but sharpness levels aren't impressive though. But overall, we feel portraits aren't bad on this device, but there is room for improvement. Now moving on to the low light images. Here the phone does decent looking images in indoor lit conditions with artificial light. But when light drops further, you can clearly see noise increasing drastically, which is quite common for this segment. This is where you need to switch to night mode, which brings in better details, although the noise levels aren't great. The sharpness levels definitely improve with night mode, but in extreme low light, even the night mode doesn't help much, and the noise levels are higher. Overall, the low light performance is average on this device. Now moving on to the selfies. Here the quality was quite okay, as the color reproduction and skin tones are good and dynamic range is decent. We have taken selfies with beauty mode turned off, so you can judge based on that. The edge detection in portrait selfies are also quite decent, although it does miss a few edges. Now moving on to the recording. In terms of video recording, the phone can do 1080p video at a max of 30 fps. The video quality looks quite good. There is adequate sharpness levels, and colors are also decent for the price segment it is being offered. The stabilization of word is also quite good, and in fact it provides good stable footage. The phone misses out on 4K and 60 fps footage in 1080p resolution. The phone can also record videos in slow motion, and the quality is quite okay. This is the front facing camera sample taken with the Redmi Note 10T, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output from the front camera. So summing up, how good is the Redmi Note 10T in terms of camera? With a 48 megapixel camera, the Note 10T does a decent job in bringing a usable camera at this price segment in daylight conditions. The details are good, and the daylight images have adequate details for the price segment. Low light isn't a strength of this camera, which is quite predictable. One area where it misses out is a lack of ultra wide angle lens, which is quite common these days in this price segment. So what do you guys think about the camera on the Redmi Note 10T? Do share in your feedback in the comment section. This is Nirmal signing off with a camera review of the Redmi Note 10T. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.